Buying a home is always an exciting endeavor. Whether it's your first or your 10th time buying a residence, there's just something thrilling about the chance to change up your surroundings and live somewhere new for a while. But we're about to meet one man who got more than he bargained for when he sought a quiet life in a new home in Tucson, Arizona. Read on for the amazing tale of a fire department captain who found the surprise of his life when he purchased a home. John Sims bought a new home for himself in Midtown Tucson, Arizona. The previous owner was a friend of his, so he knew he was in good hands. But as his friend handed over the property, he had a strange message to pass on about the house. There was a mystery surrounding the property, something huge yet to be unearthed. Little did John realize that his friend's cryptic message would turn out to be the beginning of a chain of events that would soon have the whole state talking. John's friend gave him a tantalizing hint about the backyard. He said that the house John had acquired had more to it than meets the eye. Rumor had it there was something buried there, deep beneath the ground, but he never fully investigated it himself. As John set to work on exploring his backyard, the elements were working against him. The notorious Arizona heat was absolutely boiling, climbing into the 3 digits Fahrenheit. John kept on pushing forward, armed with his shovel, hoping he'd find something. Though he dug 4 different holes and tore up his backyard, John Sims found nothing. If there really was something under the grass, there was a distinct possibility that by now it was totally destroyed, collapsed, or enclosed by bricks. John had found what could be a key resource: municipal records for his part of Tucson. He scoured old documents until he hit the jackpot. In addition to the record of his house itself being built, there was something else. John decided that he had to go about his backyard expedition less haphazardly. After all, while he had initially been working on a hunch, now he had documentation. He wanted to do things in a smart way, so he hired consultants to come over with metal detectors. To John's absolute delight, the metal detectors that the experts had brought went off not once, but twice. John took chalk and marked an X in the grass of his backyard over the 2 sites which had triggered them. Now, his search would no longer be blind. Whatever John's shovel had claimed against was clearly metal. Even though the discovery was thrilling, he paused. He thought at first that it could be a septic tank, and wondered if it was a bad idea to keep digging around it. From the look of things, John had discovered an entrance of some sort in his backyard, shaped like a hatch. He bent down to clear away the dirt surrounding it, excavated even more to isolate it, and pried the lid open. Inside the hatch, he just uncovered 3 feet beneath the grass of his backyard. John Sims found what looked like a series of sharp blades. Upon further inspection, however, he realized it was in fact a spiral staircase heading downward. John knew it would be foolish to proceed any further, even if he did it with the utmost care. In his background, John is a fire department captain, with plenty of special training to rescue people trapped in tight spaces. He could already predict the risks. John called a bunch of his friends over to help. He wanted to make sure that he not only had backup to proceed with the excavations, but that his friends act as a sort of spotter in case something bad were to happen. John was super excited to explore the underground find in his yard, but he wanted to be able to use the space and navigate it safely. There were far too many things yet unknown about the passageway lying beneath the surface. The first thing that had to be done was to reinforce and repair the entire concrete structure that surrounded the stairs leading down into the cavern. The stairs were very dangerous because they were rusted through and could possibly give way. John and his friends worked diligently to set down several fresh layers of concrete. They wanted to secure the rebar inside the hatch. If someone was going in there, they had to be absolutely certain that the structure wouldn't just crumble around them. The intense, blistering Arizona heat was a huge, unavoidable problem, hindering their progress. Worse, nobody could know if that intense, direct heat could impact anything that was inside the hole. The team put up a tent over the backyard in order to protect it and themselves. As part of their plan to best spruce up the mysterious structure under John Sims's backyard, he and his friends had to install an electrical line. Whatever they would discover inside, the team wanted to be able to illuminate it properly and to use power tools for further excavation. After their work of widening the entrance, the tunnel was looking in way better shape than when it had first been discovered. They had labored intensively all through the oppressive Arizona heat, and yet almost none of the work had been actual excavation. Even though they had reinforced the outside of the structure, the stairs were still not to be trusted. Covered in rust, even if the structure around them had been secured, there was no way of knowing what weight they could sustain. John had to get inside the backyard cavern, but without using the stairs. It was too narrow and too deep to jump, and he could get badly cut up by the rusty blades of the stairs. Instead, he carefully inserted a ladder. As he reached the bottom rungs of the ladder, John knew well he was the first person to behold this sight in more than half a century. He went down into the shaft and was excited to discover that there was an entire complex beneath the ground. Inside the tunnels of the underground chamber, the ceiling was covered in old fiberglass, which was coming apart. Instantly, John knew that despite all the work they had done from above, the structure still wasn't safely secured and would require more work. Long buried underneath the earth of John Sims' backyard, this treasure had likely never been used by the house's former inhabitant. Despite the wear and tear to be expected after half a century of neglect, the structure was in incredible condition. What John Sims had in his backyard was a nuclear fallout shelter. It had been built at the height of Cold War tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union and the mass paranoia that had come as a result. After posting on a Reddit page about his finding, John's backyard discovery went viral. And as proud as he was of his new attraction, he knew there were others like him. He has connected with other people in the Tucson area who also have fallout shelters on their properties. In order to fulfill his dream of bringing his backyard bomb shelter back to life, John Sims set up a GoFundMe page pitching his story. "Hi, I'm John and I need some help restoring a vintage fallout shelter that I have uncovered in my backyard," writes Sims. John Sims was about to make such an incredible discovery and not do anything about it. As soon as he laid his eyes on his very own bomb shelter, John immediately decided to turn it into an awesome man cave, HAM shack, and civil defense museum. The story received 430 shares that led to helping John Sims raise enough money to start with the renovations. He set a goal of $2,000, of which he has already made $350, proving that many people believe in his important initiative. John Sims took a lot of time off to fix his steps into his very own bomb shelter. He made the top step 2 to 2.5 times wider than the others and secured it to the concrete wall, which helped solidify the entire staircase.